Police in Kenya have exhumed at least 73 bodies from a mass grave in the south of the country. Now, it's believed the people were followers of a Christian cult whose members were encouraged by the group's leader to starve themselves in order to get into heaven. The suspected cult leader has turned himself into police. Rescue workers say they're continuing the search for more victims. Yeah, starving to get into heaven. I want to cross over now to DW's Felix Moringa. He's joining us from our studio in Nairobi. Felix, I mean, this is a bizarre story. Tell us more about what we know about this cult and its activities.
So the leader of this particular group is known as Paul Mackenzie, who until last week he was not famously known in the country because he has been doing his activities under the police radar and under very little scrutiny because nobody thought that he was doing something to this magnitude. So up to today, about 73 bodies have so far been discovered. 29 people who were rescued were also fasting to death. Some of the teachings that Paul Mackenzie has been teaching his followers, including that you have to starve to death for you to meet Jesus. Education is evil, so some of the kids or children to parents within the church actually removed their children from school. And he also has been teaching that if you're sick, you don't need to go to hospital. And some of these teachings have gotten his members so hooked that they actually agreed to fast to death.
And how is it possible then for something like this to be kept under the radar? And what happened that finally tipped off the authorities?
So one of the members who was in this organization, it's called Good News International, tipped the police that he was missing a kin of his. And when the police started investigation, they now discovered the bodies. Again, last month, Mackenzie had been arrested. At the last 2 months, sorry, he had been arrested for the death, following the death of 2 young kids. But he was released from police custody because there was no evidence for the bodies. So the search of these bodies and this kin who was missing, his family member, both searches now led the police to discovering the bodies in what is now being called the Shakahola massacre.
Yeah, and I mean, Felix, this is a clear case of religious fanaticism. It's just gone horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, what does the Kenyan government plan to do about this?
It is sad. President William Ruto today called Paul Mackenzie a terrorist who's been masquerading as a religious leader. And he said that all religious organizations or all religious leaders who've been masquerading and teaching people funny ideologies, in fact, he said weird ideologies and unacceptable theologies will actually be there. The organizations will be closed down and they will be arrested. Something else, the Minister for Interior has actually now deployed more police to help with the search because Mackenzie owns an 800-acre parcel of land where he was burying people. Some of the shallow graves actually have over 6 people that were found, but also religious leaders from Catholic and other religious organizations known in the country have also called for the government to straighten or to make the laws strict on establishing of churches so that we avoid the cropping up of organizations like Mackenzie's.
Yeah. Hopefully they can prevent something like this from happening again. DW's Felix Moringa reporting tonight from Nairobi. Felix, thank you.